This is one of two demonstrations of the super slow motion video. As you can see, this fan was in fast motion or fast speed, and super slow motion cuts it down where you can actually see the fans rotate. There it is in regular time. Here we have a flight of birds flying over about 30 yards up from my location. That's on the right side, that's my house. As you can see, they're very, very slow. At the end of this, you're going to see them take off at normal speed. This is what a UFO flies like in super slow motion. As you can see, this UFO was traveling on an upward motion. This UFO, we slowed it down another 80% from a super slow motion video. But you can see it's not quite flying level. It's flying in more of an upward. That means that the gravity amplifiers that Bob Lazar once explained are working. The gravity amplifiers are actually pointed to which way the craft is going to be moving. So we slowed it down 80% so you can actually see the motion. This is what you are looking at. That's the iconic flying saucer. Next UFO, as you can see, we slowed it down automatically. It was traveling too fast. We slowed it down 80% from a super slow motion video. This UFO was climbing away from me. That's why it's getting smaller. The UFO did like a dip, but if you look closely to as it gets near the clouds, it's distorting its surrounding. As we get closer and closer, you'll be able to see that. This is what you were seeing up in the clouds, ladies and gentlemen. Flying saucer. Next UFO, as you can see, is coming down. This one is going so fast that it seemed to be hopping. But what we did was we took this UFO and we tried to bring it in as much as we could. This particular UFO had an interesting shape, and you'll see that at the end of the stop motion photos as we bring it in. It's giving off a lot of electromagnetic field on the top and in the back. But this UFO, as we're getting closer on these stop motions, you're going to notice it looks like a pyramid shaped UFO. The very back, which is on the top, that's electromagnetic field being left behind. Here is what we did. We straightened it out. You can see it's pyramid shape, and then on the left, that's electromagnetic field being left behind. This UFO was about 3 to 4 miles away from me, heading northeast from my location here in Pahrump, Nevada. And we slowed it down 80% because it just would go out of the screen in about 2-3 seconds. So we're slowing it down here. And as we go through this UFO, you're going to see that this UFO was giving off electromagnetic field and what looked like to me a plasma field. Now the color is just what the filter system gave me, but this is what you were seeing. This UFO was so fast, as you can see, it went from one side of the screen to the other in about a second, so we slowed it down 80%. It was doing a lot of distortion. If you notice those containers on the bottom right, that is behind this building that we're showing this video from. And I get a lot of videos from out in that particular area. As we zoom in, you can see the distortion it leaves from that clouded area. Can you see the distortion? It's giving off electromagnetic field on the top of the craft. No aerodynamics needed here. Look at the blunt front end of that craft. It was going from right to left. These craft do not touch our atmosphere, therefore they don't need aerodynamics. This UFO was far away, as you can see, near the cloud area, and it was hopping. That means it was going extremely fast. We had to automatically slow it down about 50% from a super slow motion video. Interesting enough, in this particular UFO, it seemed to be going up and down as it was traveling, not straight, but like bronco, like a horse raising up. And as it was traveling through the sky, we tried to give you a better visualization of just what these craft are capable of doing. As you can see, this is really far away. and if it was a bird or an insect, it would have to be 40 feet across in order for me to get that. Now, I did 3 stop motions as it was traveling, and it never lost its shape. Interesting enough, today on the news, they're showing this craft behind the sun. There is a craft similar in shape. Here are all 3 of them together. They never change its shape. This is a very interesting video here of a UFO that I've never captured before. It looks like a white mass with 3 protruding electromagnetic fields coming out of it. It comes around, goes off the right of the screen, and then it comes on the bottom. It loops around, comes right back up. And it looks like it's going back to where it came from. The interesting part about this UFO is if we played it at normal speed, all you would see is a streak. It was flying so fast. So you can discount what mainstream scientists would claim, that this is a paper bag flying in the wind. It was flying at Mach speeds. Can you see the 3 protruding electromagnetic fields that it is giving out? I would love for scientists to acknowledge the fact that this is in our atmosphere. It is not in outer space. This is one of several stop motion photos of it. As you can see, you got 3 protruding electromagnetic fields popping out of it. We got rid of the electromagnetic fields, and we're giving you a little darker background using our filtering system. You can see there is a nucleus to this object. Coming in, we darkened the back area, again getting rid of all the noise we possibly could. This seems to be a spherical object, and as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, this is an object that was in the sky. This UFO was flying so fast that where the arrow is where we had to start it because it was going so fast. This particular UFO was giving off a lot of electromagnetic field, and you're going to see structure in this particular craft. We did a few stop motions of it, and you're going to be able to see something like during the show. Many people were staring at the photo I had on the wall, but this particular UFO was going very, very fast. As you see, as we come in closer, you're going to be able to see structure in this craft. Could this have been what Amua Mua looked like if we were able to see it in our atmosphere up close? A rocky structure. Take a look at this. This is what you are watching coming down. This is truly a UFO, and possibly disguised with a rocky film around it. Another UFO flying quite fast. This one is heading towards my direction. That's why it gets larger and larger as it gets closer to the right side. We slowed it down 80%. We just want to give you an idea how fast it was flying in super slow motion, and now we slowed it down another 80%. Gives you an idea what this craft looked like. The typical flying saucer. As you can see, as it's going through, on the top of it, it's giving off electromagnetic field out of it. There is a little bit of plasma on the bottom of it, but for the most part, I was concentrating on the back left side of the craft as it was going through. As you can see from here, it kind of looked like an egg-shaped craft, but look at the brilliance of the left side on top. That's the electromagnetic field coming out of it. This was a typical flying saucer. You can see the shape here as we get in close. It gives you a different form as it's traveling. This UFO was so fast, and look where the arrow's at. And as you can see, this craft was zooming across, leaving a lot of entrails. What I call entrails are not chemtrails. They're traveling so fast, you see the back of it. This particular UFO made a U-turn in mid-flight as it was coming through. We're going to be bringing this one in so you can see it a little bit closer here. But as you can see, it makes a U-turn, something terrestrial craft cannot do, not unless they want to break apart. And of course, the pilot would not be able to take those kinds of G's. This craft was flying in the Mach range. And take a look at the electromagnetic field all around the craft. It was generating a lot of electromagnetic field. Another fast flying UFO if you'll notice, this UFO is tilted, almost in a odd shape. It's leaving entrails, but the gravity amplifiers are pushing from behind and not forward, where we usually see the gravity amplifiers at work. It was shooting out electromagnetic field on the top and the bottom of the craft as it was going, but it was traveling quite fast. And this is what it looked like. You can see the electromagnetic field, that's the light area. We took 3 stop motions of it as it was traveling through our skies, and it was traveling through our skies despite what mainstream scientists claim. Here are all 3 of them together. Like the previous video, you're going to see this UFO do a right-hand turn, something terrestrial craft simply cannot do. If this was a jet fighter, it would have fell apart, other than I would have heard a sonic boom. This craft right here just made a complete right-hand turn. Again, we cannot do this. You can see it skipping through. That's just a flaws in the optics of the video, but you can see it's leaving entrails. A little bit closer and you'll be able to see how it makes this turn. Now, when it's traveling through our atmosphere, it doesn't slow down, it just turns. But from your vantage and your eyes are telling you it's slowing down, but it is not slowing down. It made a complete turn. If this was in regular motion, without super slow motion, you wouldn't be able to see it do the turn. You would see it disappear. That's the interesting thing about these UFOs. They're traveling so fast. This is what you were seeing. Look at the electromagnetic field all around the craft. There's a little bit of plasma, but for the most part, electromagnetic field. I have a series of ghost UFOs. I coined these ghost UFOs because they're not solid. And now this is not out of focus. This is how these UFOs appear. And there is a nucleus to each and every one of these UFOs you're going to be seeing. There are several of them coming up. As you can see, the dark area, scientists claim that is the cold area. The surrounding, which looks like plasma field to me, is the hot area. But this UFO was in our atmosphere. Here's another UFO, and this is a ghost UFO, I'm sorry. And as you can see, it's flying through. I got a series, I believe there's 3 or 4 of them. As you can see, this one's flying through. They do not usually make sharp moves. They're kind of like floating in the air. Now this is super slow motion, remember, super slow motion. They're traveling quite fast. If this was regular motion, it would just dart across the screen. But we slowed it down 60 to 80%. That way, give you an idea. These UFOs pulsate also. As you can see, it has a nucleus again, and it's got surrounding plasma around the craft itself. The next one, as you can see, it kind of darted up. You can see the speed of it, and as you can see on the upper left, there's a tree there. So again, this is not out of focus. It is dark. It was about 5 o'clock in the evening, and I darkened the background so you can actually see the ghost UFO in motion. They kind of flicker off and on. Not a light, but they kind of like swarm. The shape changes, but again, it's got a nucleus to it. All these ghost UFOs are very, very similar in shape. Next, I got a series of spheres or orbs, whichever they may be, are going to be showing. And these particular spheres seem to be rotating in a counterclockwise rotation. We are in the northern hemisphere of the world. In the southern hemispheres, like Brazil, they seem to go in clockwise. Here in northern hemisphere, they counterclockwise. This is what this particular sphere looked like, and we're going to show you a series of them. This one here, as you can see, it's rotating in counterclockwise. Dark, light, dark, light. These spheres or orbs, whichever you prefer, I think that there is a reason why they rotate in that way. It is the atmosphere itself that has a lot to do with their rotation. and that's why they're different from the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. As you can see, this had a nucleus to it, like the one previous to it. Here are 7 of them flying in formation, and these UFOs were going northeast from my location in Pahrump. That means they were heading towards Area 51 or S4. As you can see at the end, you can see them in the beginning and end, how fast they're flying. They just flicker off and on, and they seem to be crisscrossing each other. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you some close-ups of these UFOs as they were traveling in our atmosphere. Here's 5 of them. Again, mainstream scientists keep saying they're not in our atmosphere, there's no proof. Well, here's all the proof you need. We're going to show you 2 of them up close. As you can see, there is a light source in it. Now, scientists say that the light source would be the power source, and each of them have it. We're going to go to a single one now, and as you can see the light source there, this was giving off electromagnetic field all around it, but there it is in close view. The next one here, you can see it again. You can see it going counterclockwise, and it seems to be light, dark, but this one here was really quick. We only caught a second of it, but we zoomed in the best we could, and this is what was up there. Strange nucleus here. Regardless, it had a nucleus, as you can see. We had some plasma around it, but for the most part, that was it. Going back to regular UFOs, this one here crossed a sphere, and you'll be able to see that as we come in. It's going to be just to the right of this UFO as it was darting down. That UFO was heading west. See the sphere down there going in counterclockwise again, a close-up of it. And I want you to note the UFO as we slow it down and it's going by. This UFO was surrounded by electromagnetic field. You can see it turning counterclockwise. And here comes the UFO. Take a look at the electromagnetic field all around it. Here's a still of these 2. Ladies and gentlemen, these are in our atmosphere. They're flying around every single day. Here's a UFO that we consider a can shape. It reminds me of the Red Bull can. I don't know if I can get in trouble for saying that, but it looks like a Red Bull can to me. This UFO was flying really, really fast. It was heading east from my location here in Pahrump. And as we show you the stills and we get closer, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But this particular UFO seemed to have a light side on the right and a dark side on the left. But again, it has that kind of Red Bull can shape to it. Some people say they see different images surrounding this particular object, but you saw it flying, and here's what I'm talking about when I say Red Bull can. Did I say that enough? This next UFO, it was quite interesting. It's a ghost UFO. And for those scientists who say that they're not in our atmosphere, these UFOs are going in and out of that cloud formation up there. As we get closer, you can see this one here. It came in and then went straight down. As you can see, it disappeared behind that cloud and then came right back out. It seems to be cloaking, having a cloaking device as it's traveling through. Regardless, this is focused. Look at the chimney down there. This is in focus. And these craft are what I call ghost UFOs. This is slowed down quite a bit. It's passing through that cloud, and then it seems to dart down. This is what it looked like. As you can see, it has a nucleus, which means it's cold in the center and hot on the outer part of it, which scientists don't understand the physics of that. Another UFO in the clouds. This UFO was going again really fast, and the only thing we could do is slow it down so you can get a better idea of it. You can see it darting through, but this UFO was giving off a lot of electromagnetic field as it reached the top of the screen. Right there you see the flash, And that's where we're going to take a stop motion photo of it, and you'll be able to see it. And there is a nucleus here, a UFO if you will. The shape of it, you'll be able to see it very distinctly. But scientists don't understand the physics, and I think what scientists have to understand is they need to think out of the box. The dark part, as you can see, that's the actual craft. And look at the flash that it gave of electromagnetic field. That's a very powerful flash right there. Simply a power source that we don't understand.
What is this?
This UFO was going from east to west. From my location here, you can see the tree on the top there. That gives it away where I'm standing. But this UFO was leaving a lot of entrails. A lot of entrails. We're going to go ahead and show you how it's looking. You can see it tilting. This is not flying straight. It's tilted a little bit. That gives you an idea of the gravity amplifiers. It was giving off a lot of electromagnetic field from top to bottom. As you can see in this still, there is some entrails back there. As we zoom in a little bit closer here, you're going to be able to see what I was talking about. There we go. And as you can see from the top and the bottom, that's the electromagnetic field. And you got the iconic flying saucer shape here. Another UFO heading west from my location. The trees there give that away. I know exactly where I'm facing. And this UFO seemed to be climbing, but it was heading towards California from Pahrump, Nevada. As you can see, it's giving off electromagnetic field from top and bottom, and it's not flying straight. It's giving kind of an arc as it's flying through the atmosphere here. Again, these craft do not touch our atmosphere. I don't know how many times I've got to tell scientists that I've talked to, they don't touch our atmosphere, and that's why we don't hear a sonic boom, or we do not see a craft crackling in the atmosphere. They simply do not touch it. You can see the magnetic field all around this craft, and it's saucer shaped. So again, scientists need to understand that this is a different type of physics, a physics they don't understand. This next UFO is flying so fast. Again, as you can see, we looped it for you several times, and then we slowed it down about 80% from a super slow motion video so you can get an idea of what it looked like. These UFOs travel at Mach speeds, make no mistake about it. Scientists claim that they're not in our atmosphere, but yet you see these craft on this side of the clouds. Here's a stop motion photo of that craft that you were watching. As we zoom in, give you a better idea that this craft was surrounded by a plasma field, not an electromagnetic field. That's the dark purple. But it seemed to have a couple layers around it in the front of it. But that was interesting enough for scientists to argue the point. This is what I believe is an orb. There's one on the bottom of that orb on the left side there, and they seem to be hovering, not flying very fast. When we were showing it in super slow motion, is here, you can see these craft kind of chuck through our atmosphere. It's almost as if they're maybe powering up something in the atmosphere. I don't know. Possibility. But they do seem to be flying in a kind of an offward type random move. I believe these are orbs or spheres. As you can see, it's surrounded by a plasma field, not electromagnetic field, and quite sharp. The nucleus itself, quite sharp. You can actually see it. Here's another one similar to the one previous, and this one here, as it was coming down, I took a stop motion of it, actually two, before it made the arc. I took a stop motion, and then as it was flying down, I took another one. So you're going to see two different shapes, but yet this is the same craft. This is the first one before it made that arc, and this is again when people are asked to give them a drawing of what they saw. You can see that they give different shapes, but yet it's the same craft. This is the before it made the arc. This is after it made the arc. And we're going to blow this one up, and then we're going to compare them side by side. It gives you an idea when people do make a drawing, they say, well, that's not what I saw. And if you have an idea of what you've seen when they're slowing down, you're seeing them in different shape. And this is what the comparison is, but yet it's the same craft. That is so interesting for people who said, that's not what I saw. Here's another craft coming down. As you can see, it made a tilt, and it's going to make a complete circle. That's showing that the gravity amplifiers are at work here, because this craft, if we were showing it in regular motion instead of super slow motion, you wouldn't be able to see it. Now, this craft was about 3 to 4 miles away from me. It's very, very far away. That's why it's so small. This isn't an insect. If it was, it would have to be 40 feet across. This is your iconic UFO shape. There's the electromagnetic field all around it. It was generating that to make that turn. Something our terrestrial craft cannot do. I can't stress that enough. And I'm sure pilots will agree with me. Does that not look like a classic UFO flying saucer? Look at the electromagnetic field all around it. Scientists can argue all they want, but these craft are flying in our atmosphere. Any Star Trek fans out there? This is an interesting one. I was able to capture this one I was very lucky that particular day because of this particular craft. This is the badge that was worn on the actors on Star Trek. And what we did is we tilted it to the side, and we did that for a reason. And the next photo will explain why we did that. Now, I want to show you first how far away this UFO was. You see that arrow? That UFO, it's pointing towards the UFO. The next shot, we're going to show a close-up of it, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. That's what the arrow was pointed at. This particular UFO, this shape, I should say, I've never captured before. But I think it's so interesting because it reminded me of the badge they wore on the uniforms of Star Trek. Here you can see electromagnetic field on the front of the craft. On the next one, we're going to darken it a little bit so you can see a little bit more of it. We darken the craft and you can see the electromagnetic field all around it. Again, it's not changing its shape. It stays the same. And then at the end of these stills here, we're going to show a comparison to that badge that was worn by the Star Trek actors and this particular craft. And you'll see what I'm talking about. Very unusual looking craft. Now, is that pretty similar to what I'm trying to convey to you? I think it is. It's got that shape to it. Write in, let me know what you think. Here I had a fleet of UFOs, 21 UFOs together. Now every single one of these UFOs were identical. I took stop photos of all of them, and then I took one to show you what a stop motion looked like. We had to slow this down almost 95% because they were flying so fast, and almost a still. And this is one of them that I took to show you. They're all identical. There is a light source in each of these craft. They kind of look like cans flying in the air. These were not birds. They had no wings. As you can see, this has a light source to it. Scientists claim the light source is the power source of whatever is flying up there. But mainstream scientists will again say that this could be anything. That is their go-to, anything. But here, it's a close-up we got of it. There's the light source there that tells you the power source according to scientists. I'm not a scientist, so I'm going by what they're saying. But yet, there was 21 of these flying in our atmosphere. They were on this side of the clouds. You all saw that. If you need to go back and look at it again, you can study it all you want. but these craft were flying in our atmosphere over Pahrump, Nevada, and this was just taken last month. This is a famous artist rendition of Amua Mua, and I disagree with mainstream scientists saying that Amua Mua has left our atmosphere and is heading towards Neptune. I believe Amua Mua is in our atmosphere. I believe it's flying around because in October of 2023, I captured what I believe is Amua Mua. Now, I could be wrong. It could be another craft, but I don't believe that Amua Mua left our solar system. I believe that, like a lot of scientists, it's covered with a rocky film. Now, this is another artist rendition of what they believe Amua Mua looked like. Of course, a rocky film all around the craft itself. It was about 400 to 500 feet long, pancake shaped, and about 60 to 80 feet across. But if you tear away the layers of the rocky film, you'll see that there could be a spacecraft built inside this rocky film. And you would have to have a lot of squareness to have this kind of rocky film mended onto the craft itself. And maybe this is what the craft looked like. Now, this is an artist rendition, not my rendition, but an artist rendition. So I have to say that quite a bit, because people are going to say, well, you're reaching out. But this is what a lot of mainstream scientists believe this is what it would look like. Now, on the photo that I took, as you can see here, on the upper left, that's the craft. Below it, there's a flying saucer, and all the way to the right, there's another flying saucer. These two flying saucers seem to be accompanying the longer one, and it's heading northeast of my location. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Area 51, or S4. We're going to do a close-up on the left side of it to give you an idea. We're going to get rid of the UFO on the right and show you a little bit closer up view of it. As you can see, that bottom one, that's the saucer-shaped UFO. Had a lot of lights on it going forward and backwards. The one on the top was a little bit closer to me. I'm guessing that was about 400 to 500 feet long. As you can see, it has a light source on it. Actually, there's a couple light sources. And then I did a reverse of the photo, and I put it, of course, in comparison to what Amua Mua, they think what Amua Mua looks like. This is what my comparison is, and I think it's pretty close. Again, I believe it could be, if not Amua Mua, maybe it left something behind. Here, I'm going to be showing you what night vision goggles can do. As you can see, there's a lot of UFOs crisscrossing. Now, if these were satellites, they would not be crisscrossing like this. They go in one direction. They travel anywhere from 20 to 38,000 miles per hour. These craft here are flying a lot faster than that. And if you watch this video, you're going to see UFOs coming in from all different directions. Now, would that be a nightmare for our satellite system? Look how they're crisscrossing each other. These are UFOs, and this is what you can catch on night vision goggles. I have a couple of them that I use at night when we get a clear sky here in Pahrump, and you can catch these all night long, as long as you can take looking straight up in the atmosphere. But these craft do fly at night as well as during the day. Some of these craft here, if this was daytime, I would catch these craft in my videos, because these craft right here are not all in outer space. Some of them are in our atmosphere. Make no mistake about it. Scientists will continue on saying that there's no proof that they're there, and yet here is a view of them. Now let's get into craft that may be coming in through a different dimension. This is the artist rendition of what they believe that they how they come into our dimension, if they are coming into our dimension. And I believe they are, because I've captured one particular photo that actually proves this. At least I believe it proves it. But if they're interdimensional, which scientists are claiming they are, this is how they would do it. Now, a lot of naval personnel saying that when they go into the water, they don't make a splash, or when they come out, they don't leave water. splashing out of the ocean. And that's because they're not touching our atmosphere, as I've said so many times before. I've been saying this for years. Scientists disagree with me, but that's fine. They can have their own belief system. That's good. They just don't understand the physics of these craft that are flying at Mach speeds. Now, I took a picture, and this is the photo. This is the out photo of it. It's not close up. It's not far away. As you can see, there's a black hole there, and there is something coming in or going out. I took 5 photos in a row, and if this came out in the 4th photo, and on the other ones, there was simply a sun. There on the right of that, that's a lens flare. You can forget that. And down below, you can see a little bit of a tree line with some telephone lines. We darkened the background so you can see that a little bit better, that this craft was either coming in or going out. We lightened it up again, changing the background, just to give you an idea, different views of what you're seeing here. Now, professional photographers would say that if you make this into a negative, the craft could disappear, and that would mean that it's a compression artifact, which scientists are now using today, artificial or compressed artifacts. As you can see, we did a reverse on this. The black hole is now white, but the craft is still there and is either coming out or going in. There's no determination of which way it was coming or going. Back to the original photo, just to give you an idea of it. And we're going to do a comparison on this because we have a photo of what I believe it was taken somewhere about 1958-59 in Brazil. And it's pretty similar to this particular UFO, and I'm going to show you that in a moment. But as you can see, it's a black hole, and this craft was either coming in or going out. This is the negative on it. Look at the craft. It's still there. Now, the black hole that it opened up, a tear in space, whatever you want to call it, it gives you an idea of that this craft may have been coming through so fast and we only got partial of it. This is the craft taken in Brazil around 1958-59. That's very similar. We're going to do a comparison to give you an idea. Now, the left side is gone in the picture that I took because I think it was coming through or going through so fast that it was missing. But there's the comparison here. And again, it's a negative. The bottom part there, that's the electromagnetic field that it was giving off coming through or going into another dimension. This is the serpent god. The Aztecs, the Toltecs, Aztecs, they all believed in this deity. It's the feather serpent god, Kukulkan. And if you go to Mexico, you can see it coming down the pyramid, and it looks like it's going down the pyramid on the equinox. It's a very famous photo in Mexico or Mesoamerica. But we have a gentleman by the name of Story Musgrave. He's one of our great astronauts. This gentleman has 6 degrees. He's not an average, to me, an average person with PhDs. You have to have 6 degrees. You have to have a very, very elegant background, understanding of things that you're talking about. And this particular astronaut made a comment, and his comment was on not just one, but on 2 space journeys, he saw a 6 to 8 foot long eel or serpent-like creature. Now, he talked about it in depth and said it looked like a silver snake or a silver eel, but it was elongated and about 8 feet long. Now, he said this on different occasions and on more than one space mission. You can believe him or not, but in ancient times, there were people who said that they had seen snakes in the sky. And these, they would call them serpents, actually. This is one, an ancient, an alien presence, as they called it. But they said it would fly in the sky and they would see it. And they couldn't understand how a snake or a serpent would get into the sky. Well, I took a picture in Beatty, Nevada, a few years back. And this is what I took. This was about a 45-degree angle, and it was about 5 miles from me. If you saw the original photo, all you would see was just a line. It's very, very tiny, but I was able to magnify it and show you this particular shape. As you can see, it's a serpent type view of it, or it looks like a serpent. So I reversed it, and I'm going to do a comparison between mine and what he claimed he saw in outer space, and to give you an idea. As you can see, his on the top, that's a serpent, silver in color, and the one I took on the bottom, silver in color. It looked like mine, the one I took looked like it had windows on it. Interesting. The old Tic Tac, you've seen this one on television. This Tic Tac was said to have been taken off the coast of the United States, and I've captured this myself. That's it right there, that little tiny speck. The arrow shows the way. We're going to show you a close-up of it, but that's what I caught, and this is in Pahrump, Nevada, not in the ocean. The photo clearly shows a plasma field all around the craft. It's got two light sources, one on either end, and I believe this craft, as we come in, we're going to show you another stop motion of it. I believe it was giving off a lot of power source, and maybe that's why the pilots claim that it went from 83,000 feet in the air all the way to sea level in a split second, which meant it had to be going at Mach 200, something we cannot do. Lockheed Martin is the ones that are supposed to be making this craft, which means that we would have to have conquered inertia, because if we were in this craft going that fast, we would be dead. Here is the gimbal, the second photo that they showed on television, or video they showed on television. Again, this was taken off the coast of the United States, and I took this photo over Pahrump, Nevada. Now, as you can see, it's surrounded by electromagnetic field. That's all that light all around it, and the shapes are very, very similar. It's got that little bottom end there like the gimbal has. Now, on mine, as you can see from theirs, they said this rotated. Well, look at the electromagnetic field around theirs, and then look at mine. You got that same electromagnetic field. The only difference is I took photos of this, not video. But again, they're flying around Pahrump, Nevada. I want to talk a little bit about 3I Atlas. The 3 stands for the third eye interstellar object that has come through our atmosphere, or actually our solar system. And Atlas was the area of optics that found the object, and it was I believe a co-working agreement with Peru and the United States. 3I Atlas, when I first videotaped this on the 25th of October during the show, I didn't have the information I have today. This was before perihelion, before it crossed behind the sun. Today, that I'm upgrading this is November 16th, 2025, and it's out of perihelion, and we are taking not only video but snapshots of 3I Atlas, and we're finding that it's giving off different arrays. It's not just leaving a tail. It has at least 4 to 5 different ones, and one of them was facing the sun, so it was shooting towards the sun. Some scientists claim that that means it could be nuclear fusion or other mechanisms that we're not familiar with. Again, we're not using their physics. We're not using their mechanics. So as far as I'm concerned, 3I Atlas could be intelligent. Here you see a UFO on the left side of the screen. We blew it up for you so you can get a better idea of what it looked like. I took 5 shots, quick shots in succession, and the first 2, 3, you're going to see a UFO on the left side of the screen. On the next shot, this UFO was on the right side of the screen, There it is right there. That's the American flag flying just above it. This is in my front yard. I was facing south. We're going to get a close-up of this UFO on that side. There it is. We're going to get one more close-up of it. You'll be able to see it a little bit more clear. This is the iconic flying saucer shape. Now remember, I said I took 5 photos. On the next photo, you're going to see something, not a UFO, but something else flying in the atmosphere. And it was in the same area of this particular UFO. That's the object here. Now as we get in closer, you're going to notice this object is not a UFO. It is not a bird. And the reason why I say that is because this came out on the 4th photo. On the 5th photo, there was nothing there but blue sky. As we get coming closer, you're going to be able to see what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a missile. Now I've done a lot of research, and I captured this several years ago, and I just don't take pictures and all of a sudden show it on television and say this is what it is. I had to do research on it. I showed you a parallel line. It was in line with the UFO. I identified this as a AIM-9 Sidewinder missile. This is not a bird, and it's certainly not a UFO, but an AIM-9. Now in 2020, 2021, the Air Force had an agreement with Pahrump officials. They want to do live maneuvers over Pahrump, and I believe this is what they were getting ready to do. Here's a Sidewinder of what it looks like. Why were they shooting over Pahrump, Nevada with a live missile? Because that missile was not a dummy. It was a live missile. So that's the question people need to ask, at least people here in Pahrump. Are you comfortable flying, living here with live missiles flying over your particular city? And I'll leave that with you to think about. This video was shown on October 25th and at the Pahrump Nugget Hotel Casino, and I hope you enjoyed this video.